It's more so about like, let's bring all of us together.
You know, we're doing it for the environment, for our health as well, but really kind of just, you know, to be able to provide really good plant-based food and like, you know, allow people to like give vegan food a chance.
My name is Dalena.
My name is Emmanuel.
Our food truck is Vegan Veganos. We're the owners and operators of it.
And it's a all plant-based Mexican food truck.
We provide authentic Mexican dishes in plant-based substitutions. You can come to our truck and order burritos, tacos, shrimp tacos, de horchata, all of that, but all vegan.
We met in high school. I actually met her at one of my friend's houses because his sister was her friend. So, you know, that's where we kind of met. Asked her to help me with some homework. That was my pickup line. But we met in high school.
We ended up going to college together. We moved out there together, and then we started the business thereafter. We were like cold turkey vegan, so now what do we eat? It wasn't like, oh, like a slow transition to get to where we are, but it was more so of like, okay, like now we're just gonna eat rice and beans. Let's just experiment with a whole bunch of food that we already like to eat and make it plant-based. So that's basically where Vegan Veganos came from, because we came up with all these dishes that we love to eat, and it ended up being really good.
It was a lot of trial and error. Soy proteins, we even tried mushrooms, we tried working with jackfruit, we tried different protein options. It was between, okay, should we use spices, like powdered spices, or should we use actual chilies? Should we use powdered garlic? Should we use real garlic? You know, it went from a lot of, you know, testing in that way. And then we, you know, started, okay, this doesn't work, started knocking things out.
He was the one that brought out his mom's authentic, like El Pastor meat recipes. And so we would use those same ingredients with soy, and it just didn't turn out right. Like it was like not flavorful, and it was just really different. So we actually had to like, we would tweak it up. So we would take the same authentic recipes that we were used to cooking, and then kind of just playing with the ingredients. Because soy, like it absorbs a lot of flavor, so you have to put way more flavor into it to get it to be the same taste as something that's meat.
I was a mama's boy, so I spent a lot of time with mom. Like during vacation time from school, and I would help her with whatever I could, whatever she would let me help with, because I couldn't touch knives. But she would let me peel garlic or, you know, like wash some produce for her, but I would always just be right next to her watching. I just love the smell of like the food cooking. I liked the vibes. Hands down, I think she's still a better cook than me.
Just always enjoyed cooking. My dad came to America, and his first job was being a chef in a restaurant. And then growing up, my oldest sister has Down syndrome and autism. So I grew up taking care of her at a really young age. So I knew kind of like how to cook basically when I was like super young. I think like I was like 8 or 9 when I learned how to like chop things and, you know, cook things on the stove and stuff. And then when I met him, like because he also liked to cook, we would hang out. And we were young, we didn't have a lot of money, of course, so we would cook together. We just tried to bring the authentic dishes that people are used to eating at like regular taquerias and are meat-based, but we would just convert it to plant-based. So like all of the dishes that you see here, like that's familiar to some people. People see your menu and they're like, oh, I know what that is. Instead of like it being like completely different things that they've never seen in plant-based, and it's just weird to them. So we want to kind of like integrate this kind of like menu concept that people are familiar with, so they're not scared to try our food.
We wanted to keep the same names like asada, al pastor. Yeah, you know, asada is your beef, al pastor is your pork, and chorizo is like your sausage, right? We wanted to keep that same name so that when people came, it's like, oh, it clicked. Like, oh, I know what this is, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of people who are not vegan who would accidentally order our food and end up really liking it, and then they find out it's vegan.
Shrimp tacos, burritos, and nachos are definitely a seller. Street tacos, everyone loves street tacos. Who doesn't? We also have like specialty dishes that come out every now and then. Like during the cold weather, we have pozole, we have tamales. Every now and then we bring out ceviche. So there's a couple dishes that we bring out randomly.
Right when we open the form for that, like people just go towards it and start like placing in their order like immediately.
We put in our order for this food truck to be built in December of 2019. Not knowing that we were gonna go through a pandemic and they were gonna shut down everything, and we got our truck literally in March when everything shut down. So what do we do now? Because people are scared to come out. But it kind of worked out because we were also thinking, okay, now we need to expand, we need to hire people, and at the time it was still us two.
We were figuring out all of the training handbooks, like all of the recipe books. We had to make sure that like everybody knew what to cook and make sure those recipes are actually, precise. So it kind of worked out in our favor. So we had a lot of time to figure all of that logistics out before we hired. We want to encourage people to open up to the idea of having more vegan establishments and providing more vegan options to our community.
We're doing it for the environment, for our health as well, but really kind of just, to be able to provide really good plant-based food and allow people to give vegan food a chance, plant-based food a chance, because a lot of people hear the word vegan and they don't want to eat it because it's like, oh, well, it's probably flavorless, you know what I mean? So definitely continue spreading that awareness through really good food.